Hi folks, welcome to Visits with Soxy Nana Alice. I thought I'd throw in a special for you today. These are my faves and fails of 2023. Please enjoy the show. Well, I am getting take two out of this. I actually, instead of putting up my hand and it starting by itself, it actually just took my picture. Okay, so what are we going to be up to today? Thank you for coming and checking out the Visits with Soxy Nana Alice. I'm Alice, your yarn host, but today is a special episode. Today I'm going to show you my faves and my fails of 2023. So, first off, let's get the admin stuff out of the way. I'm Soxy Nana Alice on Instagram, Facebook, and on Ravelry, and you can email me at soxynanaalice@gmail.com, or you can put a comment below. That would be awesome. So anyways, thank you for coming back. Thanks for joining me. Thank you to all my new subscribers for giving me some time today. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this special episode of Faves and Fails for 2023. I'm not going to be running through all of my knitting from the previous year because a lot of it ended up getting gifted and I didn't get a chance to take pictures. And just recently, I have started to put my project pages into Ravelry for everyone to enjoy and to get ideas from and be motivated. So let's get started, and then hopefully it won't take too long, and hopefully you'll enjoy all of my makes from 2023. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading. Who am I with this, spreadsheet thing? Okay, so these are knit and crochet projects. I'm going to add a couple of crochet, not a lot. I had 15 faves and 5 fails, and I have a total of 51 projects this year. Last year, the year before, I thought I was going to do maybe 20, 25 projects, 51. Wow. But small to large, I didn't count dishcloths, but I did count my blankets, okay? So let's get started. I did 2 cardigans last year. One was my fave, and actually both were my favorites. First off, I'll put this out there. I loved doing all of my projects. I am definitely a process knitter. I love the process. I love reading patterns. I love doing graphs, and I love scrappy projects, all kinds of projects. The only thing I haven't tried,
is brioche.
Maybe that's my future, we'll see. But this year so far, I'm sort of hooked on the color work. You'll see late in my next episodes. Anyway, so let's get back to the faves and what have you. I had 2 patterns that I did. I did the garter marler at the end of the year. Oh, sorry, before I get going, I also wanted to say that all of these projects were finished in 2023. Okay? Nothing is going to be finished in 24. No whips in this. All finishes. So I have was my favorite cardigan. This is the Cattail Cardigan by Joan Forgione actually, and it's done in Stylecraft DK. And this is my favorite simply because I can wash and wear this. It's dynamite to wear. It's super soft, super squishy. And I wore it at the trailer all summer. Like, it's definitely a wash and go cardigan. It's got a beautiful texture to it. I'll link it below. It's got a beautiful little texture that I kind of look like dragon scales to me. And in the pattern, it shows it's done in 2 colors. I did it all in the one plum in Stylecraft DK. So that's my fave for my cardigan section. I did 2 cardigans this year. The Garter Marler by Stephen West, and this one, the Cattail Cardigan by Joan Forgione. Sweaters are next. Okay, guys, this is a fairly big category for me. Last year, I started making sweaters for myself. Made a couple for others, but mostly myself. I won the Rocket Tee by Tanis LaValle. I won that pattern in the fingering weight, and then I won another one in the DK weight. Well, I didn't win it. I got to pick the pattern. You know how it works when you win a prize. So my fave, though, for the year, okay, was a ranunculus. I've made a total of 4 ranunculuses. And I got a pile of sweaters here, guys. This was my favorite for 2023 because it's my warmest and most worn ranunculus. This is made, I'll put it on this side. This is ranunculus so thick and squishy. It's made with what I believe to be buffalo wool that I found at the thrift store. And this white buffalo wool came from a closed down mill that was in Brandon, Manitoba. And I thrifted this yarn for $7.99. I paired it with a drops mohair, or actually drops alpaca, I believe, in white, kind of a creamy white color. And this, it looks huge, but honestly, it's definitely an over sweater. And for this weather that we're having in Winnipeg right now, totally, totally gorgeous, warm under a nice coat. So this is very thick, very squishy. And yeah, my favorite pullover this winter, or this from last year. I do have a couple others though. I do have the Clubhouse Raglan hoodie. Oh, sorry, that pattern's from Midori Hirose. And the other one that I made was a gift for my daughter, and it's the Two of Wands Clubhouse Raglan hoodie. And I'm going to put a picture here of her wearing it. I hope she doesn't mind. It turned out gorgeous. I made that in Lion Brand Woolies, which is a commercial yarn with 20% wool, I believe. And it is so squishy, lovely, and very warm as well. My daughter wears a lot of hoodies all year. And yeah, when she said she'd like a hoodie, I was over the moon. I mean, my other daughter, she absolutely loves all my knits. I can knit her socks and just about anything. But my oldest daughter, she's not big on hand knits, I think, because she's a little more warm-blooded, and she's not into the knitted goods. But my other daughter is for sure. Hi, Gerald. So I did a baby flax, and I did 3 rocket tees, 1 fingering weight, and 2 DK. I'll just quickly show you. They are the faves. I mean, like I said, I love all the things I made this year, but I had to pick my faves. These are just everydays. So this one, this rocket tee in fingering, this was one. And you know what? Again, I'm going to link all the stuff in my project pages as well. And if you go back to my old videos, you can usually pop in and see if as I worked on it in their progress as well. This one is done in drops bell, and it's stretching like crazy, but this is a really nice summer one. Beautiful, right? This, okay, is my favorite yarn of the year. Okay, I'm jumping kind of all over the place, but just bear with me. This is the first time I've done this kind of video. Okay, so this one is done in Arcane Fiberworks out of Alberta. I won the yarn 6 skeins. I have 1 skein left. I made the most squishy, gorgeous rocket DK. Made it a little bit longer. I like my sweaters longer to cover the parts. But this one I totally did perfect to pattern because I did all the beautiful eyelet for the raglan, as well as down the center, or the seam at the side seam. I love this pattern. I find it works up fairly quick, and yeah, it fits very well. I really enjoy that DK. So now I've made like 4 ranunculus, 3 rocket tees, and oh, I love when you can reuse a pattern, right? It's awesome. Okay, so let's get to more faves. I did 18 pairs of socks last year. A couple of DK weights, and one worsted weight. But my favorites, okay, let's find them in the pile over here, guys. I had 2 favorite fingering weights. Both I believe I tested. One is I Am Here for the Food by Dana Ray here in Winnipeg. You guys all know and love Dana Ray. And I did them in, this wool is actually from a Winnipeg dyer as well. I'll link her below and I'll put it on the screen. This has got some texture, and I made these right after Christmas when the pattern came out. Oh no, I guess I didn't test these ones, sorry. But yeah, this is really nice pattern. I just absolutely love this pattern, and I love the wool, and it was all Canadian. A Canadian made it, a Canadian dyed the wool, and a Canadian wrote the pattern. So this was my favorite, and I think it's because of the name of the socks. I Am Here for the Food. Does anybody know where that reference is from? Put it in the comments below if you remember. Okay, this is another one. This was definitely has the whole story happening with it. These are from Nancy Wheeler, and I test knit these for her, and they're done in a Canadian, so she's a Canadian as well, and the wool is from Remy's Roving and Yarns, and she's in southern Manitoba. I have to pick it off because it's MCN base. Oh, these are the squishiest, softest, warmest, loveliest socks I own. And oh my God, they're called Tits Up. And this is a reference to the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which was a series a couple of years back. And I watched the whole series, all the episodes this past summer. Oh, it was just the most hilarious show. So yeah, these are the Tits Up socks by Nancy Wheeler. And you know, Nancy also donated the beginning of the when she first put the pattern out, she donated the proceeds from the pattern to the breast cancer of Canada, and I am so on board with all of that. But yeah, so this was Arlene's wool from Remy's Rovings and Yarns. I'll link her below. Thank you, Arlene. And this is MCN Merino Cashmere Nylon. Unbelievably soft. So beautiful. So those are my two favorite socks, but I did do a bunch of socks this year. I'll pop in some patterns. Sorry. I did I did the Let's Say Home socks by Nancy Wheeler, the Blooming Lovely socks by Nancy Wheeler, Tits Up socks, I'm Here for the Food, the Swiss Shorties by Nancy Wheeler. That was also my favorites too, I have to admit. I made 3 pairs of those, but those are shorty socks. Actually, one pair is packed in with my stuff to go to the trailer for next year, and one pair or two pair went to my daughter Cheryl. I did the Holiday socks by Anne Hunt, the Spooky Spider socks by Anne Hunt, the Evergreen socks by Anne Hunt, and another fave, which I don't have here because they're in the wash, but I will put a picture right here. These are my favorite DK socks. These were called the Spring Stream socks by Mari Rin. It was a free pattern on Ravelry, but I actually bugged the Novita Yarn Company online. I sent them a couple of emails and messages asking if they could put this pattern in English. And when the pattern came out, they actually notified me and let me know that it was in English. So I picked up the pattern off of their website, and and it was a free pattern. And this was the most challenging and beneficial to my psyche pattern that I did this past year. It was so much fun. I think I ripped it back 2 or 3 times to get the tension right and to get it all perfect the way I wanted to see it. The coral color is actually a Novita now wool, and the contrast color is from Bente from Arctic Crafts. And yeah, that's it's again there. I believe I have my show notes, or not my show notes, sorry, my Ravelry page set up for that. So go check that out. So I did 3 pairs of vanilla socks and 2 pairs of Prairie Vamp socks. Now, when I say the Prairie Vamp socks, that's my go-to pattern for work socks, sort of, or house socks for friends and family. And these are them. I just recently finished these in December. And these are done with Briggs & Little. It's a Canadian yarn. And the pattern is actually a Canadian Winnipeg pattern again from the people who used to have Ram Wools, I think it was Ram Wools or the Wool Co-op here in Winnipeg. They're out of business now, which is very sad. But this pattern is beautiful. It's called the Prairie Vamp socks. And yeah, I make these for friends, family, for Wally, for myself. And yeah, they go a long way. They last quite a long time with the Briggs & Little Tuffy wool. Okay, so that's my socks. Now, on to hats. I had no real hat patterns that were my favorites. I made hang on one second. I had one more. I had my tanks and tops, I had a ranunculus that I did for Sam. And that's actually another one of my faves. I did it in, I'll put a picture here of Sammy wearing the ranunculus, the ranunculus. I made it for her birthday in the Fezza DK 50/50 viscose and cotton. It was ugly yarn to use. It wasn't a yarn really because it's cotton and viscose, but it turned out beautiful. She absolutely loves it. Looks great on her. And again, another one of my ranunculus pile. Okay, so like I said, the hat's not really fussy. I've got a tam I made for Sam. I made a burrow hat with all my hats I made this year seem to have squishy mohair in them too. I was just into the mohair. I made a funny little beanie for myself. Oh, I think I've got that one. I'll show you in a second. And I made 5 muscle burrows by Isolde Teague. And that was for friends and family for Christmas presents. Let's see. Oh, here it is. This is the funny little hat I made myself. I call it my funny beanie. So I still have yet to write up the pattern. The pattern's written up, but I just have to remember what I did for these little cables. Does anybody have any idea what that cable might be called? I think I was just sitting watching TV, and next thing you know, I just was making myself a little beanie. I'll pop it on and show you. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it on. No, it doesn't really go with this background. But yeah, it's a nice little beanie. I wear it around the house, especially when I had my cold this past few weeks. It came in handy I actually wore it to bed. So okay, so those are my hats. Nothing really fancy, just the regular hats. But I will show you my favorite tam that I made at the very end when I show you my favorite set. If you haven't already seen it, of course, because I've shown it so many times. So on to mitts. I have 2 pairs of mitts that I finished in 2023. And if you've been watching, you know it is my favorite pattern right now. It is absolutely stunning. It is the Benevolent Hands pattern by Mona at Bunny Muff Knits. And I will show you them because I haven't gifted them yet. They are both gifts. I have my squirrels. And I have my foxes. Now these ones are bigger because they actually have a liner inside. I lined this pair, and so they're a little bit larger, but they are so warm. Oh, these are crazy squishy warm. And again, on my Ravelry page, you'll find the wool and all the details. These are so gorgeous. I absolutely love her patterns, and I might have a surprise coming in March, hopefully. And yeah, because she's going to be putting out some new patterns, I believe. So that'll be nice. And yeah, I'll have to jump on board and see what she's got to offer. So those are the 2 pair. And I started the owls, and I'm doing those in alpaca. So those are my favorite mitts. Okay, shawls and cowls. I made one, but I'll talk about that in a minute. My favorite toys and accessories. I had a section for toys and accessories this year. I have been kind of making toys off and on over the past couple of years. I've always made toys from time to time, but more diligently. I found the book by Louise Crowther, Animal Friends, in the library. And I fell in love with this little mouse. And her name is Dorothy Mouse, but we call her Maisie Mouse around here, after my mom. And she's wearing a bougie sweater, just like my Whitmore that I made. And this is her. She is my ultimate favorite. I made her little Mary Janes, and I made her a little pair of capri pants that was in the book. I modified this a little bit. I didn't put any sleeves in her little top. And the bougie sweater just made up as I went along. Isn't she adorable? She is totally my favorite for this year. Yep. And that spurred me on to make more toys. This one actually I did a make-along this summer, or that spring, I believe, with Anne from No Excuses podcast from Spa Knits, and with Carol Roy from Swatch This Space, and they helped me out with doing the giveaway, with donating gifts, as well as helping me out. Thank you, Anne, for helping me out with Ravelry. And now I've started working with Ravelry a little bit more. Thank you so much for your inspiration. Yeah, so this is Maisie Mouse. And then I made Zebby. I'll show a picture of Zebby here. And I also made another little bear that went off to Edmonton this past winter for Christmas. And I'm sure the little guy that received it will be able to name it himself real soon. So, and of course, Fiona, thank you very much for helping me name her. This is Fiona Fox. She hasn't got pants yet or a skirt, but I was thinking with her little sweater, I don't think she needs a pair of pants just yet. I might actually sew her some clothes for the summer, because Fiona Fox, I think, is going to head out to the trailer with me this summer to keep me company and help me out with my knitting in nature videos. What do you think? So what do you think?
Yes, I think I'll come with you.
Thanks, Fiona. So that's Fiona Fox. And again, those are Louise Crowther patterns. Last but not least, I have the last toy that was my favorite. And I'm going to make more of these really soon, because I'm going to take a bunch of them with me when I go traveling this summer. And this is the little crocheted balloon dogs. I'm not quite sure. You have to let me know. Should I put safety eyes on them? I got safety eyes in the mail. I ordered some from Amazon. And I don't know, should I put safety eyes on him? What do you think? Does he need eyes? He doesn't come apart. Once you make him up, to get him to stand up on his own, you definitely need to sew him. But he's a little crocheted amigurumi style balloon dog. And I'm going to make a bunch of these for this summer. They're cute. They don't take too long. They are quite intricate to make, but they're fun. I think the finished product is what keeps you going, right? So my favorite blanket for this year was the one that I finished and I gave to my grandson Gabriel. I'm going to put a picture here. This is the nicest blanket I've crocheted in many, many years. It's a crocheted corner to corner blanket. I used Alex's tutorial from My Yarny Corner, and I made, as you can see, I made a block of 9 colors, and this is all leftovers from Stylecraft DK. And then I bought some extra of the navy, or midnight blue it was called, to go make this, make the sashing between the blocks. And it was corner to corner as well, and I picked up the blocks as I went along. It was really fun to make. It took quite some time, but it was well worth it, and it is well loved by my grandson. Okay, so the last thing, and oh my gosh, we're doing this, and we're going to have it under half an hour, which is really good. I really like half-hour videos myself, personally. My last thing that I made that I absolutely love, because I'm the proudest of it, is when I set of Point Edwards mitts, modified slightly, okay, and with my hand spun as the colorful accent. These are double with some Cormo yak wool that I got from my friend of mine's stash. She gave me. I made the pearl beret, modified slightly, again using my hand spun, and I put an elastic in the brim so that it would stay on a little better. See, there we go. It's my favorite. And the asymmetric shawl, which is another free pattern, the pearl beret, the Point Edwards mitts, and the asymmetric scarf, actually, are all 3 free patterns. And this is my favorite set. And I haven't made myself a set in years, so I was quite pleased with this. Turned out really well. So yeah, so there's my set. So now, let's take a quick break for me, and then we'll get on to the fails. Okay, guys, all of these fails are definitely going to be pictures, okay? And for whatever reason, they're not fails based on the pattern, I don't believe. Mostly my interpretation of the fabric that it was supposed to end up being made. I had grand plans and used the wrong fabric, used the wrong wool or the wrong pattern for my shape and size. And actually one was actually a test knit and I just basically didn't like it on me. So but that's how it works, right? It's all about the process and it's all about learning and, just enjoying your craft. So first off, I have 3 fails and they're all 3. One's a tank top, one's a vest, and one's a t-shirt style. So what I did was I did the Mela top for Anna Deku of Bluebird Box or Blue Box Bird. I'm sorry, I'll put it in below, of course. And I have a page for it. It did get frogged. I hand dyed the wool. It was a Stellina wool. I thought it would look really good in light blue. I dyed it with blueberry Kool-Aid. And I joined in on the test knit and I made this lovely tank top. Now, it is a beautiful tank top, okay? It's got gorgeous details, beautiful construction. I don't like it on myself, okay? I'm not a big wool. I used the wrong wool. I should have done it in a linen or a light cotton. Would have had a nicer drape. It wouldn't have that suck in kind of feeling that wool gives you in a tank top. It would not be, usable for the summer because it's, gets way too hot here. So here's a picture again, as I told you. The first one I put up is, the picture of the actual pattern as it looks great on Anna. And here's one on me. And no, I'm sorry. I'm sharing it. It's not the greatest. It's also in my project pages. So nonetheless, it got frogged and the wool is being used for something else hopefully in this year's projects. The second one, again, here's a picture of it. This is the pattern picture, and then I'll show you the picture of the actual item. And it is the Drift Vest by Pearl Soho. And this was a free pattern. And I thought, oh, this wool will be perfect. I used this really cool wool that I was gifted by a local maker. And it's 100% wool from BC. It's an older wool, and when it was knitting up, it had a whole bunch of little plastic bits in it. Now, from what I understand, that's when they bale the actual wool itself. It has like ties on it, and sometimes that ends up in the processing. And so I was constantly picking out little bits of plastic. Not only that, when I went to wash it, it ran, and it's still running. There's no way you can wear this sweater or this, as far as I'm concerned, it's a fail because the dye in it it's so saturated. It's a beautiful color, but it is totally losing all its color. Again, a fail for the actual wool. So, but I enjoyed making it. It was lots of fun to make it. It's a bulky knit, so it will knit up really quick. Okay, the next one was my Shima sweater. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I was totally in love with this sweater. I still am, okay? I may just make this sweater again, but if I do, I will make it with the correct yarn and I will make it the correct size and I will make sure that I put my sleeves in it. See, as you can see, I made this in the summer thinking I could wear this over, make it into a little cropped version and wear it over top of dresses. Now, because it didn't have the sleeves, the armholes were very gapy and very long. The shape didn't work. After I washed it, it stretched like crazy because it is a garter squish. It's a garter stitch style sweater. Beautiful construction. I love all of Beatrice Macy's patterns. They're so cool. They're very modular. They're very much me. So I will make this sweater again, but I'm going to use the correct wool and the correct, like I said, I'll make it to pattern instead of trying to modify it into something else. Not a plan. So I frogged it and I reused some of the wool already this year for a test knit that I did. And I'm going to be using the colorful yarn in it in some color work. So again, a fail, live and learn, not the pattern, not the wool, just the two of them are wrong with a whole grandeur idea that I was going to modify this into something completely different. And it really did not look good on me at all. Okay, so the next fail, I don't know how to describe it. I picked up this pattern from Arn and Carlos, and it is the basic slipper, the basic felted slippers. And I used this buffalo wool, which you would think would be great for felting, which it is. Okay, so I got this pattern, and I started reading through it, and for the life of me, I couldn't catch on to how they were knitting this pattern and how the stitch count, I couldn't get gauge. I really had struggled with this. So I actually sent an email to Arn and Carlos's pattern people or them themselves. I don't even know if they answered me themselves. But anyways, I digress. And they said, start at the heel. And I was like, okay, I had no clue what they were talking about. So it got frogged. I started it. It was a mess. And because this is it's not spun at all. It's an unspun wool. It kept breaking. And I was like, I'm not having any part of this. So it was a fail. I just gave up on it. I couldn't believe I gave up on it. I might look at that pattern again in the future, but I'm really also not huge on making actual slippers. I thought I'd make them for gifts, but I knit up the socks, and I'll make shorty socks in a worsted weight maybe, or I make these prairie vamps, and a lot of my friends and family use these as everyday around the house socks. So yeah, why make slippers, when you can just whip up socks? So that was a fail. I figure I disappointed myself, but whatever, I'll get over it. Okay, so my last fail was the simple thing. Now, I'll put a picture of the simple thing pattern here, and it's a extremely easy little scarf, or you can use it as a headband or as a hair tie. For some strange reason, I couldn't get the knack of doing this. I was constantly making mistakes. It is as simple as making dishcloths, and I just couldn't get myself into this little tiny scarf thing, and yet I thought it was the cutest thing going. It's a free pattern, and it is very much like the Sophie scarf. And I thought, oh well, it's free. So I mean, the Sophie scarf is a paid for pattern, so I'll just do the free one. Well, even I don't have the Sophie scarf either because it's the same. It's garter stitch. How easy is that? It's increases and decreases. I can do that. It's I-cord border edging, which is perfect. That's my favorite. And that was it. It was nuts. I couldn't do it. So I ripped it back. It got frogged. But I did use that wool, which is the cornrow yak, in my favorite pattern, in my favorite set. This is the blue wool. The blue wool is what I used to make it. And I'm pretty sure some of you have saw me making it and then got frogged. That's it. That's all, everything. Yeah, so I'll put a little slideshow at the end showing, as many as I have pictures of. And yeah, that's it for 2023. And I look forward to doing, hopefully, 50 patterns or 50 projects again this year. And I will be using Stash this year. I'm entering a lot of make-alongs, which I told you about in a previous episode. And yeah, so hopefully if I get a chance, I will put a little bit of the Fibre Frolic after this video as well. So stay tuned for that to the end if you want to see what the little shenanigans that the Naughty Knitters of Winnipeg got up to this past Sunday. Okay, so take care and knit with love, folks. Bye.